I'm Gino Buccola here with another daily racing form preview. We're going to talk about race number 6 today from Pleasanton. It is opening day at the Pleasanton Day Meet. Make sure to get to DRF.com for all of your handicapping needs and DRF bets to make all your wagers. Let's take a look at race number 6 today over at Pleasanton. This one is going to close out the card. It is 16,000 non-winners of 2 race, going a mile and 70 on the dirt course. And if we look at the Timeform US pace projector and how they have things plotted out in here, it does look like I thought there should be a pretty fair amount of early speed in here. What's kind of tricky in this particular race is you have these horses stretching out, right? So it's a little bit of enigma. You have horses like the 3, Warren's Wild Ride, the 4, Super Ellie, the 5, Outrageous, the 6, Your Royal Flyness. They're all coming out of sprint races. So this pace was a little bit tricky, I think, to decipher if you're trying to go horse by horse and see how it's going to be really fast or contested. So I think it could be fair and honest just based on that. I don't know if they'll be necessarily flying and battling out early on. Remember, you can get these Timeform US pace projectors in all of the all-access past performances at DRF.com. Let's take a look at the field now for race number 6. And we'll start on the inside with the number 1, After My Own Heart. This is a 4-year-old filly. Now, she's just 1 for 11, but she is super versatile. She's consistent. She can be forwardly placed, but she can also pass horses. So I think in a race like this, where we're not exactly sure how the scenario will work up front with the pace, you like having a horse like this that can adapt to different things. So while I'm not quite sure if she will be up to task to win this race, she's in really nice form. She'll be making her first start on the dirt. She's 7 for 11 in the money. I'm going to have her in some of the underneath spots because I think she can do different things and she can really spice up your exotics if she hits the board in an exacta or a trifecta here. That's the 1, After My Own Heart. Let's move to the 2, Acclaimed Preacher. This one should be close up throughout. This is a 3-year-old filly who she broke through the starting gate last time out. I think you can just put a line through that effort. Don't really pay attention all that much to the finish of that race for her. She will also be coming back to the dirt. She's only been on the dirt one time, and it was in her career debut. It was down in Southern California when she was sprinting. This is a totally different ball game, so it's really hard to use that race as a gauge. She's been burning money a little bit against better horses. You can see she's been your beaten favorite in 2 of the last 3 races and a couple starts recently. But I do think she fits pretty well with this group. I would not be shocked to see her win this race or to hit the board. She should be involved throughout. You can consistently see her showing up all the time with good efforts. Just before that last race where she was on the turf and she broke through the gate and she just probably exerted herself a little too much before the race was even run. So I think another horse that you want to use in some of your underneath spots, because at the very least, she's going to be involved early on and carving it out. The number 3, Warren's Wild Ride, right next door, will come up from Southern California, come into the Jeff Bondi's barn, first start off the claim. And this one will try a mile and 70 yards. They're never going farther than 6.5 furlongs before. I'm just going to treat her like a real wild card in here. She's not overwhelming on speed figures either against this kind of a group. I haven't been very impressed with her last couple of efforts, so I'm just going to be watching her today, Warren's Wild Ride. But she is one of a couple in here that has dirt success. So if that's important to you, that's something you want to keep an eye on. The number 4, Super Ellie. She's a major player in here, and we have a replay look at Super Ellie from last time out. We can take a look at that May 25th race from Golden Gate, where Super Ellie was actually last down on the inside. She was about 6 lengths off. She was well behind the rest of the field, and she angled out widest of all, and she closed very well to finish second that day. She has 2 races at a mile, and both of those races, she showed a little more tactical speed. And so I think stretching out from 6 furlongs back to the mile, she will do that. I expect her to be more forwardly placed in here. She will come closing late. I think she's super honest, and she's one of the horses that they'll all have to hold off in here. Moving right next door, it's the number 5, Outrageous. This guy is lightly raced. This gal is lightly raced, and she has plenty of room for upside. Her first 2 starts in her career came against slightly better, and we have a replay we can show you of her most recent race. Her 3rd career start was on May the 27th. She was sitting close up throughout. That was going 6 furlongs, and that was against maiden claimers. So that was the first time she dropped in and faced softer company. She was very good that day. She sat second. She moved to the lead. It was an easy win, and she looked like the additional distance would be no problem. I honestly think she might have just been facing a little bit too tough in her first couple starts. To me, she's going to be really a horse that runs very well, that shows up, and that is in the mix throughout. I like the 5 Outrageous in here a little bit. Moving to the outside, that's the number 6, Your Royal Flyness. The blinkers will come off for her. I'm really not sure what to do today. I know she has a win on the dirt, but that was in a dirt sprint about a year ago now. The second start of the year, second off the long layoff, but there's not a ton of early speed here. To me, just kind of some mixed signals. I'm going to take a wait and see approach on the 6, Your Royal Flyness. We finish up this race with the number 7, GJT. The last 2 for this filly were fine. They were coming from way off the pace. She's kind of a wild card on the dirt in here. Another one who is kind of just a tough read for some of these horses who go from synthetic and turf form up to the dirt at Pleasanton when they don't really have a whole lot of dirt form to, base your handicapping off. So to me, the outside horses, both a little bit of a wild card. Can't get great feel for both of them in here. Now, let's take a look at the selections and how we have mapped this race out. I'm going to go to the 5 on top with Outrageous. I just think Outrageous can sit a really nice trip. I know that she can sit off a little bit if she has to, but I would not be shocked if she's right on the lead and forwardly placed here throughout. The number 2, Acclaimed Preacher. Just eliminate that last race. The races in March and in February were very good. Against tougher than this. So any of those races, if they're able to translate over on the dirt, from a class standpoint, I think she fits really well. Then you get the number 4, Super Ellie, who will be coming late. She will be closing and passing horses. And then to round things out, the number 1, After My Own Heart, who's got that versatility down on the inside, can be sitting close, but can also come and pass horses late. They can kind of pick a trip with her, and she could hit the board at a very big price and maybe give you a nice boost in some of those rolling exotics or some of those, exacta try superfecta wagers. Wish you all the best of luck on Friday, race number 6 at Pleasanton. Make sure to get to DRF Bets to get your wagers in.